Hey guys, Abby here, and in today's video we're actually going to be doing a full walkthrough of the MALIWAN Takedown with MOZE. A lot of you guys were asking in my last build video of Green Mobster MOZE if this was viable for the scaled takedown. I've soloed the scaled MALIWAN Takedown on the Green Mobster build many times. I've tried different weapon loadouts and different artifacts and things to figure out which one works the best for me. So I'm going to share with you guys what I used for each part of the takedown and walk you through it step by step. If you want to check out the skill tree and the build, then that will be linked down in the description below. And as always, guys, if you ever want to see any of these builds live and ask questions and stuff like that, I stream Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at twitch.tv/AbbyHour. Starts at 8 p.m. Eastern time and we go till about 2 a.m. But let's get right into it. So as you guys can see, I've got a radiation redistributor for the crowds. In the very beginning, there's a lot of shield and health, so radiation does really well, and we get our bonus fire from our skills and our anointment. And then the other really good weapon to have here is a corrosive cutsman. Mine is weapon damage on action skill end, so I make sure that I'm using it as soon as I get out of Iron Bear. And then we are also using our recharger shield with health regen. We're using a piss grenade with either radiation action skill end or corrosive action skill end. We've got our green monster and we've got our flesh melter victory rush. So my green monster in this first part has +5 into scorching RPMs, but the passives are not as good as my other green monster class mod. So you'll see that I switch it back to my other one after this phase just because I felt like it was performing better, even though the one had 5 into scorching RPMs. And then we just want to position ourselves right in the middle here with all the adds. It helps to spawn them, I think. But I'm just using the radiation redistributor to chain to all the enemies. If you have difficulty with the heavyweights, Iron Bear is a really great way to burst through the heavyweights and to pop their critical spots on their back. The other thing with this stage is you want to make sure your Iron Bear is ready to go when the gate opens, or not too long after the gate opens and the Kraken starts to come out. It's going to be a few seconds before the Kraken actually comes out of the door there, so we're going to use our shock scourge just to shoot some shots off, get any shields down, possibly kill some enemies, who knows. And then we're going to go shoot at the Kraken. Now, I don't know if I still have the weapon ASC on this one. It may have been enough seconds already, but you can see it's taking him out pretty good. He puts his little shield up. And if you guys time this better so that you can get in and out of your Iron Bear and immediately shoot your Cutsman, then you'll probably kill the Kraken a lot faster. I know I have. It's all kind of up to timing on where your Iron Bear cooldown is. All right, next phase, we're going to be going into the Valkyries. In this phase, we want to make sure we keep our Cutsman on, and I'm pretty much keeping all the same weapons. The only thing I'm changing is I'm putting a Hell Shock on. This is so that I can rip down any shields if I need to from the adds or specifically from the Valkyries. And then we're going to jump down into the elevator. We're going to jump into Iron Bear, jump out, and use our radiation redistributor to rip their shields all at once, since it does chain. The amp shots do chain to the other Valkyries. And there's the shields. And so now they jump back up, and then we get ad spawns, try and kill them as quickly as possible. You could also let them live if you really wanted to, just to have second wins, just in case. This heavyweight's the only guy left, so he's going to be a little bit harder to kill, but we got it. Our Iron Bear is ready to go. The Valkyrie has no shield, so I'm going to have my Cutsman on, get in and out of Iron Bear, and then use my Cutsman while I have that 100% weapon damage. and get them to immunity, so we're done with that. And now we're just waiting for the next set of ads to spawn. Use our radiation redistributor since they are just shield and health should go down pretty easily. And like I said, you could leave these guys alive if you wanted to, if you're worried about fight for your life. We just take them out. This guy's got a little bit of shield, but we can get that down with Iron Bear. We have our Cutsman ready to go as soon as we step out of Iron Bear. And we get that one down to immune. Goes back up. We got one more coming down. We've got another set of ads. This one is the dogs. Make sure they don't push you off the edge or anything. We're just gonna keep using the radiation redistributor because we do get corrosive from our green monster and our anointment on our grenade. This guy does have shields, but I didn't see that before I jumped into Iron Bear. So I probably should have used the Hell Shock a little bit here, because you'll see my Cutsman does alright damage, but it's not stripping it as easily as it should have been, but we get it down. We go into the armor and they're immune. So now we're waiting for one more set of ads. And then the next phase will be all 3 of the Valkyries jumping down at once. And that's where it kind of gets a little hectic. But as long as your Iron Bear is up and you can get your corrosive Cutsman on them, you should be able to eliminate them pretty easily. So you can see here, we're like in the middle of everything. We've got our Cutsman and I'm just trying to get shots to take them out. We take one out. You also want to be careful of the one that throws the shock attack because we're not wearing a transformer. You could if you wanted to. If you had a transformer with health regen or something, you could try it. However, I do like the recharger shield for this build just because it completely recharges when it breaks, so it gives you kind of that leeway. Just make sure you're not stepping in any shock puddles basically. And that is it for the Valkyries. So next up is the bridge phase. We are going to be switching to a cryo redistributor and an icebreaker artifact. I'm also going to be switching to a cryo lob, just for some extra damage. We still have our recharger, we still have our green monster, and we switch up our grenade to a radiation ASC just because there's more shock and health bars in this phase than there are armor bars. So as you guys can see, we're not really switching up too much during each phase, maybe an artifact or a weapon or two. And then if you guys don't know about this skip right here, you can just kill the 2 first enemies that are already out when you turn the corner, go up and over here and jump off the map. And then what that's going to do is just open the door for you. So you don't have to kill like the 10 enemies that spawn in that area because sometimes it can be annoying to wait for them to jump down from the top. But of course that is completely optional. So once this door is open here, either way you do it with the skip or from killing the enemies, you're going to want to just slide on through this entire area, run all the way past, all the way to the end. So it seems kind of crazy. And if you feel like you don't have as much damage, maybe you don't have the perfect guns with the perfect anointments and stuff, maybe take it a little bit slower. But what I like to do is just go straight to the end and start shooting and let them all come down to you. It's going to group up the enemies a little bit more. And since we're using cryo and we're using a redistributor, it's really nice to have the enemies grouped up like this. So all you want to do in this phase is just make sure you're cycling between your Iron Bear and then you're having your Recharger proc. Always try to keep an eye on your shield and health and make a mental note of when your Recharger popped and went off, because there is a cooldown on it. So you want to make sure in between those cooldowns you're getting in and out of Iron Bear. You also want to be careful of the Warhounds because they are going to strip your shields with their little sap move that they do, I guess it's called. It looks like it's shock, but it's actually not shock. It will just sap your shields regardless of if you're wearing shock immunity or not. And then of course just try to stay out of shock puddles. I mean, stay out of any puddles really, but shock in particular, because that is going to be stripping your shield down. But the reason why I like the icebreaker with cryo efficiency and the cryo weapons is because we can actually freeze the death spheres. So they can be really annoying because they're super fast, especially if you're on console like me using a controller. They can be super fast and zoomy, so it's nice to be able to slow them and also be able to freeze them. So while we're just finishing up all the ads and the enemies here, I just want to say too that the green mobster build, if you guys haven't seen the build video, this build does not use Vampire at all. We only go down to Auto Bear in the blue tree. So we're using that health regen anointment and the Recharger shield to help us regen health and shield. I wanted to give you guys a good option for doing the takedown without having to use Vampire and without having to use like cloning maddening tracker and gear like that that's really hard to find. And I feel like this build is pretty flexible in terms of what gear you can use. You don't have to use a redistributor. You could use a brainstormer here. You could use a lob here. You could use the wedding invitation. You could use whatever you want. Hyper focus is really great now. The hyper focus has been buffed. I have a cryo gamma burst one for my flak and it's amazing. Eventually this door is going to open here for you. It might even happen while there are still some ads left over, but all you have to do is kill these two guys to get the door to open to go to the Wotan fight. And if you're having difficulty with these guys with popping their back, just hop into Iron Bear and use Iron Bear to get their back crit super easy. And you don't have to worry about getting out of Iron Bear too early here to reset your cooldown faster, because you can always wait. This is the door right to Wotan, so you can just kind of get out at your leisure, use the full cooldown, get turned around like I did, and then wait for your Iron Bear to be back before you drop down to Wotan. Okay, so for the Wotan fight, we're going to switch back to the radiation redistributor. This is for shields, and then we've got the Hell Shock on here if we need any single target shield damage. However, I like to switch it up to the Corrosive Dictator for the upper half, for Wotan's better half. We're going to have our Corrosive Cutsman on again and the Shock Scourge. In this run through, I actually use the Snowdrift Auto Idol, but you don't need to. You can use the Flesh Melter if you need it. You could use the Last Stand Auto Idol if you have one of those. Then when you drop down here against Wotan, you're going to go straight to him, pop a few shots off to get your green monster to start start ticking, and then hop into Iron Bear and use Iron Bear to take the first shield off. As you're getting close to the shield being off, you want to get out of Iron Bear, throw your piss grenade if you have one, and then start shooting that corrosive cutsman. That's going to get him down to the next phase. If your Iron Bear's back up, get back in and take the next shield off. If not, then just keep shooting your corrosive cutsman, or if you have like a shock cutsman or something, that could work as well. Wotan's going to jump up to the pedestals. You just want to follow him around and keep shooting at him until he gets to half health. Once he gets to half health, he's going to go into his double shield phase.
Let's get it over with.
During this phase, we're going to want to get Iron Bear in there again to get the shields. I really like doing this because I feel like a little bit more safe in Iron Bear. We get the first shield, and then we're going to pop out and we're going to shoot the Scourge. So right now we have some for the road, so our shots are free. We're taking lots of fire right now, but we just want to keep shooting the shock Scourge above his shield, and then I'll pop his shield. And then after that, they're going to split like this. If your Iron Bear is back up, you can kind of clear out some of the ads like I'm doing here. What I should have done was use Iron Bear to get his shield off, but as you can see, the corrosive cutsman works pretty well. So I did go down here. There's just a lot of ads. You could definitely play it a little more safe and try to clear out some of the ads, but we want to go quickly in the takedown so that he doesn't spawn any additional Krakens, or I think that's what they're called, Krakens. Anyway, we get back up, we clear him out. And then now we have to go against the upper half, which honestly always gives me more trouble than the bottom half, because the upper half is flying and I tend to miss a lot, especially if I'm using the Cutsman. So I would recommend trying out the Dictator, or a corrosive conference call is really good too. Or you could use a corrosive Kibs would probably work as well. But as you can see, we're just using the Dictator in bipod mode. This is a corrosive Dictator in bipod mode, and we're trying to avoid the shots from the better half. So use your Iron Bear wisely when it comes to that. I'm also staying inside the Iron Bear shield as well for some cover. And that is it, guys. That is it for the takedown. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted to put this out there to show you guys that it can be done without Vampire. You can do scaled takedown solo on MOZE if you want to farm for items for her. If you guys enjoyed this video and you want to see more Borderlands 3 content, educational and build videos, then definitely subscribe to the channel. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. I also stream on twitch.tv/AbbyHour Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.